Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and celebrity interviews live from the grotto with Greg Hanna. Greg, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, Neil. How are you? Amazing week. I know we
I'm
have an amazing
excited.
interview. How about
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. I'm doing fantastic. And our guest, we're going to talk about Giannis, the Marvelous Journey with Kristen Lappas. Kristen, thanks for stopping by. You're an Emmy Award winning filmmaker, and it's definitely great to have you on the show today.
I'm so happy to be here, Neil and Greg. Thank you.
All right, let's just get rocking and
Yeah, that's
rolling.
awesome. So Kristen, I have to just assume based on your name that you've got some Greek heritage going on yourself. And so
Yeah.
how did that play into the filmmaking, your heritage, your background, influence with Giannis's movie, telling
Yeah,
his
I mean,
story and all?
it was a huge help in connecting with him, if I'm going to be totally honest. We had a lot of the same sensibilities. My grandparents were all immigrants from Greece that came over to America looking for a better life. And so I feel like we were able to connect on like a much deeper level. Also, like culturally, there are a lot of just mannerisms and sayings and just kind of sensibilities that a lot of Greeks kind of share. So I think it was like it allowed us to kind of break the ice quickly. And again, for him, trusting a stranger with his family's story, and it's not an, it wasn't an easy road, and that's really hard, and you need trust. And so I think it allowed us to start building that trust a little bit earlier than maybe it would have, had I not had my background.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
that's huge. So kind of approaching, tell us as a documentary filmmaker how that process begins to get something started like that. How you reach out specifically to people, athletes, people who think it'd be a great story.
Yeah, so I actually met Giannis and his agent in 2019. I was still working at ESPN at the time, and I was sent over to Athens to cover his signature shoe being released. And so I met his agent Alex Saritsas and Giannis, and we kind of hit it off. And then I stayed in touch with them. And when I left ESPN to take a new position at the production studio Words and Pictures, my boss Connor Shell, he created 30 for 30, and then he left to start his own production studio. The day I started on the job, he was like, we've been talking to Giannis and his people about potentially him being ready to share a story, and they remember you, and like, would you be interested in being involved in this? And I was like, I mean, absolutely. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. That's how it all kind of began. But again, they sent me to Athens summer of 2022 to kind of pitch him in person on why now was the right time to tell the story.
Very
Well, the
cool.
interesting backstories, I'll go to Greg's next question, Kristen, is basically I'm about to do my own documentary on my comeback into professional wrestling at 51, minor leagues of pro wrestling, making and recreating everything. I retired in Bremen, Germany in 20 when I was 29 years old. So it's been a long time since I've been back in the ring, and it's a whole story. I have a
Wow.
marketing agency and everything, and I'm going and doing it. And so that's why I wanted to hear the whole process, because I found a filmmaker as well. And now we're going to get ready to go in Indiegogo and start to raise money. So it's interesting
I love
hearing all
that.
those
It's
hearing all those stories. So yeah, well, so Greg,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. I'm
And
excited. I'll
Neil,
be
maybe
filming in
Kristen could
May.
tell your story.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was going to say, you already have a filmmaker, though.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, but maybe we got to get other people involved too. We'll stay in touch. All right, Greg. Next question.
that's awesome. Kristen, what impact do you hope that this film about Giannis' story has on the viewers?
I hope that people walk away saying that, like, wow, that wasn't a sports movie. Like, maybe they came in thinking it was going to be a sports movie, but I think what we chose to focus on, and again, as filmmakers, you can take a subject and tell the story 100 different ways. What we chose to focus on was the immigrant story of a family and the sacrifices they made for their son. And I think that, you know, people have not heard the full story about his father and just how big of a piece of him his father is and was. And I think that even for people who are familiar with Giannis's story, they're going to walk away feeling like they got to see a different side of him. And I think the relationship that he has with his dad is one that is universal. Anyone can relate to that. Obviously, we all have parents and those complicated relationships. So I hope people walk away thinking this is more than a sports movie. And yeah.
Well, Greg, that's a great answer. I can add another question to that. I said I can't wait to watch. All right, Greg, next question.
Yeah, I did check out the sizzle reel trailer beforehand, and it was very emotionally moving. I can always tell if it's going to be a great story or a great film if I get the God bumps, the vibrations inside, the ripples, the pins and needles, all that stuff. Yeah, and I did the entire trailer, so I'm very excited about it. So Kristen, how has your personal storytelling evolved? Now in Giannis's, the marvelous journey compared to previous projects that you've done?
That's a great question. I feel like I've taken on a lot of stories about lesser known athletes. I tend to gravitate towards like the underdog stories, which Giannis is. It's the ultimate underdog story, right? But I had never worked with somebody kind of at the level of fame that he is, and he's in the prime of his career. And he's still active, which is really rare. Usually like the Michael Jordans and the Magic Johnson, they do their documentaries 20 years from now. But being able to work with an active NBA superstar was really challenging, rewarding. It taught me that like patience is key. You know what I mean? Like it took us 2 years to make this because of how crazy and hectic his schedule was. And also I wanted him to be excited and eager when we were around, not like annoyed and agitated that we were bothering him. And so I feel like being able to like, and I think that having a dad that was a head basketball coach at Villanova and other big schools, I think that helped me there because like I always saw his relationship with the media and the people that he liked talking to and he gravitated towards. And those were the people that weren't pushing. And so patience, it was a lesson in patience because again, it took 2 years, but I feel like over the course of the 2 years, trust built up. And we really got to a point where he, revealed some things that he'd never told anybody. So
Yeah,
hopefully
that's cool.
Yeah.
Real quick question, a follow up on that. One of the things that he said in the trailer that really touched me was, one of the things that really drives him, even though his, as you said, in the prime of his career in the NBA and so on, is that, what drives him is his fear of losing it.
And that is so real. Like people can roll their eyes and be like, the best player in the NBA is afraid of losing it. But that's truly what he believes in his heart based on how incredibly difficult his childhood was. Like when you come from not knowing where your next meal is and you come from society as an undocumented immigrant where racist groups were chasing you and your family through the streets, like that is always a part of you. And like, that's what fuels him. And that's what makes him different than so many other NBA players because he truly believes that like this could somehow all go away. It's remarkable.
Wow. Yeah. Totally. All right. Greg has a question he asks all our celebrity journalists, athletes, all those different things and other types of celebrities we've interviewed. Go ahead, Greg.
All right, Kristen, here we go. Hope you're ready for this one. So this is important. It's important for the listeners and for myself because I'm constantly learning. It's so important. I think you appreciate that as well. So tell me, Kristen, what do you feel the most important thing you've ever learned in life is?
Wow. I would have to say it's probably something that my dad instilled on me and my brother, which is like wherever you choose to go in your life and your career and your path, like make sure that you're passionate about what you do because you spend a lot of time doing your job. And if you're not passionate about it, it's just a life wasted. So like find that thing that you love and go after it and be passionate about what you do. Again, I grew up with a dad as a coach and he worked a lot of hours, like long hours. And he always says, I never worked a day in my life. And I truly do feel that way about filmmaking and storytelling. It's a crazy schedule and it's a lot of hours, but I feel like I've never worked a day in my life. So that's something that I feel like my dad instilled on me. And I try to tell a lot of young people who are trying to figure out what career path they want to take.
Fantastic. Great answer. And Giannis, The Marvelous Journey is now available on Prime Video. Appreciate it. Thanks again, Kristen. And I'm going to say, I now hear your dad was a coach of Villanova. I'm going to say, hail to Pitt. That's going to be my shot at you at the end, as I'm a huge Pitt fan. And they're doing well. Let's see if Pitt can make the tournament this year, and go figure. And I know you're Nova. Wow. What they've been able to do is amazing in years, but appreciate it. Thanks again.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and celebrity interviews live from the Grotto with Greg Hanna. Guys, take care.